Maybe I should put this at the beginning. Ooh. Oh, yeah, I wanted to say, I took a little peek at our analytics the other day, and only like 3% of people who watch our videos on YouTube are actually subscribed. Isn't that crazy, guys? What?
What?
Word. That's kind of crazy. So, if you like our content and what we do, consider subscribing. What do they say? It's free, and you can always unsubscribe later if you want to. But yeah, also, we're trying to hit 5K by the end of the year because we're really close, and we just think it'd be neat. Anyways,
This week on the Socratic Cinema podcast.
all of my opinions are valid even if they contradict one another.
I watched the Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion movie, and it's a horrible movie, but it stayed in my mind.
I have a fun fact. Tim Burton's like racist.
What a fun fact!
Charlie's Jack Skellington going into the voodoo door.
No, not the voodoo. Step away from the voodoo door. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Socratic Cinema podcast. I'm Kasey Clark.
My name's James Delicio.
And I'm Charlie Heatherly.
In this episode, we're continuing our spooky Tim Burton series for Socratic Spooky Month. This week, we are jumping into The Nightmare Before Christmas. It's very debated whether or not this is an actual Halloween movie or Christmas movie. I think it can be both, but let's just jump into our initial thoughts, James. How did you like the movie?
I love the movie. This is one of my all-time comfort movies. By the way, hi everyone. I hope we're having a good day today. It's a beautiful Sunday in October, and I hope you're all doing well. I just felt like some formality is in order, but I love the movie. This is a longtime favorite of mine. I've watched it like every year since I was born. There's it normally we used to watch it multiple times a year, all from Halloween to Christmas. I know this musical front and back. I say musical because it has like probably 60% of the runtime is songs. But I love this movie so much. I know it inside and out, upside and downside, and I'm just a huge fan. It always makes me happy, and I never realized how short it was until we watched it this time. It's really short, like the same length as Corpse Bride, like an hour 15. And but I think this one is paced much better than Corpse Bride was. I think the hour 15 was not a disservice to this movie the way it was to Corpse Bride. I thought it was a great, simple, self-contained little story, and all in all, very well executed.
Awesome.
Interesting.
Yeah. Charlie, what are your thoughts?
Strong B. No, I'm kidding. I would totally... I mean, I love this movie. I think that Nightmare Before Christmas is in my top 5 nostalgic movies of all time. Like James, I've been watching this movie forever. I grew up in a Disney household, and I love Jack Skellington. I loved the whole way that they decided to design this world and sort of Tim Burton's weird... I know he designs the models in clay, but he really does make the world feel like it's almost been sculpted and it's melting a little bit. And in Nightmare Before Christmas, you get a lot of style, you get a lot of interesting plot points. But unfortunately, I think that in some of the relationships in the movie, there's not a whole lot of depth in them. Sally and Jack, really not that great of a couple, will admit. Sally, it's pretty much unrequited love the entire movie, and then for some reason they like get together at the end. I don't really know why. It felt a little unsatisfying when that happened, but I'll agree with James. It's a very short movie, but I personally enjoyed the pacing. I thought that it sped along really well. There was enough interesting songs. By the way, every song in this movie is an absolute banger, which is why it's so interesting to watch.
Period.
But there's enough interesting songs to keep you attached. The style's interesting enough to stimulate your eyes. And totally, I would recommend this movie to everyone, especially children, to go ahead and watch this because it will become one of your, like, as James said, comfort movies. This is like eating grandma's cookies on a nice autumn day. Like, this movie is forever in my heart. So I loved it, but on a, critique level, I'd give it about probably an 8 out of 10.
That's fair. I'll give you that point on Jack and Sally. Like, fair enough. In an hour 15, and you're trying to tell a story, there some stuff's gonna not be as satisfying as it would have been, but I think all in all it did a much better job with the time restraint than Corpse Bride. But whatever.
Yeah.
Kasey, what did you think?
I really, really like this movie. As you guys said, like, it's one of my comfort movies. I love a good Halloween Burton Nightmare Before Christmas, with the blankets, with the little spooky snacks, all that jazz. And honestly, this movie, I've watched it a lot, but I feel like this is the one time that I was really like paying attention to it, and it's just a really really beautiful movie. As I said in the Corpse Bride cast, that Tim Burton is amazing at world building and character design. I feel like it really says something that you can look at a singular frame of a movie and just know who it's about and who it's from. And I feel like Tim Burton's great at having those kinds of moments. And don't get me wrong, I was a Hot Topic girl. So I was living my best life watching this movie. And I agree with Charlie because I honestly, between The Corpse Bride and Nightmare Before Christmas, Burton really has this thing for like one-sided pining that I didn't realize
Yeah.
until watching like those two movies kind of back to back. But on a critical level, I guess I'd give it like an 8.5, like upper, but not necessarily like in the 9 range. But yeah, it's a pretty solid movie for me.
Yeah, that's I think that's a very fair and well-rounded analysis. Obviously, we all really like this movie, so it's kind of just going to be us singing the praises here a little bit. But I think we should go back to what Kasey said at the very beginning to open our discussion today. Is is Corpse not Corpse, right? Is Nightmare Before Christmas a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie? I mean, I think there's some valid discussion to be had there. I really could see it go either way. Disneyland says it's both because they have the Haunted Mansion Halloween version of
Disneyland said
right.
capitalism.
Look,
Yeah.
okay, not gonna lie though, the normal version of Haunted Mansion kind of sleeper. The night
True.
You're
the Nightmare
wild.
Before Christmas version, I I
It
am awake.
hits.
My eyes are open on that ride.
You guys are insane. I've had enough. Really? You think that the Haunted Mansion original is not
I
interesting?
mean, it's
You don't
not
like
as
that?
interesting.
Not that it's not
It's not as
interesting, it's
interesting.
just not yeah.
You're crazy. You're insane. I can't believe this. This is sacrilege. I watched the Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion movie when I was younger, and it's a horrible movie, but it stayed in my
I was
mind.
about to say.
The Haunted Mansion was also the first ride that I cried on because I was so scared. So it has a special place in my heart. It is a scary, spooky ride. I love the world building that they do. There are so many like incredible original parts to that, especially the room that is like elongating. I don't know the official name for it. But at the very beginning when the room gets bigger, so many things in that are just amazing. It doesn't need a Nightmare Before Christmas coat of
I'm gonna
paint
be
to
honest.
make it
The
great.
only reason I got coaxed onto that ride in the first place because I too was scared was because it was themed for Nightmare Before Christmas. That was the only way they could get me on that ride.
I'm
I
A
quitting.
stan.
refused to go on it normally because I was too scared, but I sucked it up for
Mhm.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, but Jack Skellington was lanky enough for you to feel safe and
Yeah,
secure.
yeah. You want to know what's interesting though is as much as we were. Well, no. I'm not gonna distract us from our point yet. We have to answer the question of is this a Halloween or a Christmas movie, regardless of what Disneyland says.
Ooh.
I mean, I think by
I
putting it in our Halloween month, we're kind of implying that it's a Halloween movie. I
Yeah.
personally side with Halloween, but I'm open to hearing some thoughts.
Okay, so James, I want you to very specifically answer
Oh,
this question
yeah.
for me.
Yeah, here we go. Here it
dang.
What
goes.
what what to you is a Halloween movie? What defines a Halloween movie, and what to you is a Christmas movie?
I have to answer this very carefully because
Yeah.
look cool video essay coming out soon, guys. By the way, on December, I don't have a release date yet. Probably like December 1st or something because it's pretty much done. But yeah, stay tuned for that. I think based on the definitions that I'm gonna give, I think it's both. Uh, I think that for something to be considered a holiday movie, whether the holiday is Christmas or Halloween, it must be the holiday must be an integral part of the plot. If the holiday aspect was removed from the plot,
Mhm.
it doesn't necessarily. I have to make this disclaimer before the video essay comes out. It doesn't necessarily have to take place at the time of the holiday. The holiday itself must prop up the plot in some way.
Okay. Once that video essay comes out, I'm gonna absolutely flame you, but I don't want to reveal what it is. But that's fair enough. I would say to that definition, then probably yeah, it could be both a Christmas movie and a Halloween movie. I would personally side on it being much more of a Halloween movie than anything.
Yeah.
I think that Christmas is mainly used as a juxtaposition tool.
Yeah, it
It,
is.
it,
Yeah.
it's used to make the Halloween aspects scarier. I think for
True.
sure.
Yeah. I think that's a
Uh,
fair point.
like you could have really used like any holiday, but the one that works best is Christmas to contrast with Halloween.
Sure.
And and it and that's like the cute aspect of it. It's like these ghosts and these ghouls and these goblins are trying to, be all cheery and bright and happy, but in their own sinister way. Like that's the whole fun point of it. And I think it makes a much better Halloween movie than it does Christmas. Because with Christmas, it's a lot more about like a feel good sort of story. In this one, you're trying to save Santa from the clutches of a murderous sack of snakes and bugs,
Yeah.
which is wild. So yeah, most certainly, I think I would side on Halloween for this one.
Fair enough. Please don't flame me about. By the way, my
Flame the hell
all
out
of
of
my
them.
opinions are valid, even if they contradict one another, and I will not hear any other way.
All
Yeah. What do
right.
you think?
I would say that it could be both, but it veers more to a Halloween movie, mostly because they spent the majority of the movie in Halloween Town. Huh? Huh?
Interesting setting. All
Sure,
right.
sure. I have tons of cool fun facts about this movie, by the way, so stay tuned
I do
if you
too.
want to hear some more
I've
fun
got
Oh,
facts.
my
yeah.
IMDb trivia pages locked and loaded. Um,
Oh wow.
but I guess yeah, I think it's safe to say that it's a Halloween. It's a Halloween movie that uses Christmas as a plot device.
Yes,
But
I would
I
entirely
think for
agree.
something to be a Halloween movie at all, it also has to use Halloween as a plot device. So, I guess it's still both. But yeah, I feel very comfortable putting it on the Halloween side of the spectrum. Like I'd feel less comfy watching this movie on Christmas Eve than I would on Halloween Eve, you know?
Yeah. Well, like
Yeah.
this, the central question that you have to answer is this movie spooky or is this movie cheery? Definitely spooky for me.
For sure. For
Definitely.
sure. I think so. And you guys want to know something that I think is interesting because we were talking a little bit earlier during our initial impressions about how, like, oh, you take one look at this movie and it's obviously Tim Burton, right? For as
Mm-hmm.
much as we pin this movie on Tim Burton, he really was not that involved in the process, which I think is very interesting. I mean, so the movie, right off the bat, the movie was not directed by Tim Burton. It was produced by Tim Burton, but it was actually, in fact, directed by Henry Selick. And apparently, I've been reading about like kind of the making of the movie. Apparently, Tim Burton was throughout the 3 years of them making the movie. Tim Burton was only ever on set for like 8 to 10 days, and like that was
Hmm.
the extent of his
Wow.
involvement. He basically the process was Tim Burton wrote this poem called The Nightmare Before Christmas, handed it off to Henry Selick, who made it into a movie, and basically did his best to make it look like Tim Burton. Because Tim Burton was too busy making Batman and Robin or whatever the movie was called, which I just thought was interesting. It's like,
True.
as much as we like think of this as a Tim Burton movie, he really was not very heavily involved in it, which is just
Mm-hmm.
very interesting. But I guess it just goes to show like how distinct his style is that even when someone else tries to replicate it, you can still tell what it's trying to be.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah. I mean, I would say that although Tim Burton was not actively influencing the movie, there's a big passive influence on everything. Like you can see most of the story beats are things that Tim Burton loves using. I mean, the story was like pretty much written by Tim Burton. The style is obviously derived from him. Danny Elfman's in it as well, who's basically a musical extension of Tim Burton.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it definitely takes after him. Even though Selick was the director, it sort of just feels like he was the director only because they needed somebody to organize everything on the daily. And Tim Burton was,
Yeah.
busy doing Batman and Robin.
Selick described it as Tim Burton laid the egg and Selick hatched it. Is the way he described the process, which I think is a pretty cool. I think it's just kind of like an interesting little fun fact. But yeah, man, Danny
Mhm.
Elfman doesn't miss. Danny Elfman has not ever had one single miss in his career, as far as I'm concerned. Just the music in this movie, so good. The motifs don't even get me started. Oh my gosh. I think this movie blasts Corpse right out of the water in terms of songs, right?
I
This
agree.
is
He's a great singer too.
yeah, that's
He
yeah.
he's the singing voice of Jack
Yeah,
Skellington,
but not the talking voice because
not the
Jack
talking one.
Skellington's talking voice actor didn't could it was not a very great singer apparently.
Well, I have a very cool fact to end our discussion about whether or not it's a Halloween or Christmas movie. The director says that it's a Halloween movie, so I don't want to
Oh
hear it.
my goodness. Do you have a quote?
Yeah, I don't. The director confirmed that The Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween movie.
Fair enough.
That's all
Fair
it
enough.
says.
That's all she
So
wrote.
that's all she wrote.
Well,
He said it at Colorado's Telluride Horror Show Film Festival.
what is that?
So it's a horror film show festival. I don't know.
I guess presumably for Halloween movies.
Exactly.
Which would mean that it is in fact a Halloween movie. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, the hottest take: Nightmare Before Christmas
Is a Halloween
actually a Halloween movie. I'm clickbaiting the heck out of that, dude.
Oh, heck yeah, man. Did you guys know? I have a fun fact. Tim Burton's like racist.
I saw that this morning, and
What
I
a
was like,
fun
"We're
fact.
really
That's a really
recording?"
fun
I
one.
was like, because there's this trend going around where you like make yourself look like a Tim Burton character, and it apparently a while ago Tim Burton like was confronted about the fact that there are no like people of color in any of his movies. I mean, particularly black people was I think what the like question was
Wow.
about. And Tim Burton
Yeah.
responded by saying that they don't fit the aesthetic. I was
Wow.
like, dude, try harder. Like, please. Takes on this. Can we appreciate these movies anymore? It certainly leaves a bad taste in my mouth, but
I mean, separation.
right, do we believe in separating the
I'll
art from the
just
artist here? I don't know.
I personally believe in separating
Pirating.
art from the artist.
Pirate instead.
Yeah, or watch
But for legal reasons, that was a joke.
I don't know, Casey. Do you think we can separate art from the artist?
That is a great question.
Yeah, I think a part of it depends too on whether or not you supporting the art is also supporting the artist.
Yeah, because I feel like if it's like like I can enjoy pre-existing art, but that doesn't mean I need to support anything new that they give
I think
out.
that's a good way to look. I think that's how I look at it as well.
If maybe you had both the movies that we've talked about on disc, and then you find out that Tim Burton's racist, but you still have this stuff on disc. You already
Yeah, it's
paid
like
for
you
it.
shouldn't.
He has your money.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't have to support him farther. Like, that's how I am with like J.K. Rowling.
Oh god.
Like, I will love the Harry Potters and like acknowledge that they, except for Chris Child,
Oh, the
screw
Chris
that
Child was
book.
so bad.
And like acknowledge that those books like held a special place in my heart, and also acknowledge and promote that J.K. Rowling's a transphobic clown.
And
So
my favorite thing is always that like the one Asian character in the Harry Potter books is named Cho Chang and is in Ravenclaw.
right?
I just
Mhm.
who proofread these books? So unfortunate news about Tim Burton. That's you hate to hear it, but hey, maybe we can still support Nightmare Before Christmas because after all, Tim Burton wasn't really that hands-on in the making of it. So
True. Stan Selleck instead.
True.
unless something comes out about Henry Selick, I think Nightmare Before
Oh,
Christmas
Lord.
is still safe from being canceled. Man, doesn't fit the aesthetic. That's such a lame excuse.
That's like there aren't African American goth and alternative people.
Like you could
I
just
hate it here.
anyone can be skinny and have sunken in cheeks. Like it doesn't. That's not an Anglo trait.
Exactly.
Imagine gatekeeping, like
Being malnourished.
gaunt, being malnourished.
Well, he just likes making people that are like close to death in every single one of his movies. Like that's why everyone's so pale, is because that's his reasoning. Is he's like, oh well, they're basically dead
But, like,
already.
people of
But
color
it's
can
like,
be
dude,
pale. Like
I know.
it's not-
That's why it's
it
stupid.
just-
He made a movie that was entirely in black and white, by the way, and it's like your entire argument of like, oh well, it just the colors match or whatever. Like that's out the window now. If you made a movie in black and white,
Sure.
like literally, this guy
True.
needs to. I just don't get the argument. But what movies has he even made recently? In order
what is
to.
Dumbo. Dumbo?
Oh,
did
Dumbo
Dumbo.
was Tim Burton. Yeah, the live action.
Oh, did he
Were
make
there-
that less racist? Because Dumbo's pretty racist.
They
did
did
he-
take the crows out,
Okay, that's good.
Oh, I forgot about
but
that.
I don't think that was.
Yeah.
I feel like he would have kept the crows in. Personally,
I just maybe Tim Burton can adapt Song of the South.
no.
They just keep getting him to
Please.
do progressively more problematic things.
Just Song of the South, but it's all white people.
Disney's like come to the end of their live action reboots, and it's like, gosh, it's
It's just
our only other
Danny
choice
DeVito
left
as
is
the
Song of the South.
No.
It's like it's the last one we have to
Oh.
adapt. Let's get Tim Burton. He'll be happy.
Let's get
He'll be
Tim
happy to do it.
Oh.
It's just choosing a
my
martyr at that point.
Oh
God.
my gosh,
He'd take it too.
he would. I mean, he'd probably make it really creepy, which I mean, maybe rightfully so. That we should be creeped.
Antebellum part
We
2.
should be creeped out by that. Absolutely.
True.
Yeah, let's not even talk. Let's not even bring up Antebellum, the Jordan Peele movie.
Jeez.
Not a
He
Jordan Peele
wasn't
movie.
even. He wasn't. No.
Oh, was it a Tim
They
Burton
put him
Nightmare
in
Before
the.
Christmas situation?
No, it wasn't even that. It was just I think it was the producers of Get Out
Yeah.
Why would
they
they
just
put
put
Jordan
his
Peele's name on it?
because
Shit.
producers
they
of
thought,
Jordan Peele's Get Out. You know?
They were like, "Oh, Jordan Peele," and then they just watch that.
Jordan
Peele does movie.
movies about scary black people. We put his name on
Oh.
People Watch.
Oh my gosh.
And then they did that,
Weird.
and then the movie was god awful because they didn't associate Jordan, or because Jordan Peele wasn't like associated with it.
Mm.
Like
At all.
they need to. I don't know. I'm excited to see what Jordan Peele does next. I hear that he actually
Candyman.
Oh
Candyman.
yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I am waiting.
I'm hyped.
I'm
I
waiting.
heard that
I'm so
he
hyped.
executive produced Lovecraft Country too,
Yes, he did. And
which I want to
Lovecraft
see.
What
is
that?
insane.
What is Lovecraft?
You don't know Lovecraft Country? Oh, James.
Is that like
HBO?
Does it have to do with
man.
H.P. Lovecraft?
No, just
No.
coincidentally.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's kind of oh man, I feel like there could be
Well,
a really
it's-
cool HBO show about like different Lovecraft stories.
It's basically like the idea of Lovecraftian horror. It's like those monsters
Beyond
just put
comprehension.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and-
like
and
sci-fi
there's a-
monsters plus like racism
Yeah.
and all this like it's insane.
That sounds interesting. I'm not an HBO person though, really. I don't have HBO. Is it
Oh.
HBO Max?
Do you have
Ooh.
HBO Max
I don't have
instead of
I don't have
HBO?
any HBO. I don't think. Wait,
I think it's just regular HBO.
is that two different tiers of payment?
I have
Yes.
zero
Oh
clue.
my gosh, it's like you pay for
Yeah, I
Netflix and then you
believe
pay
so.
for Netflix Plus. Like what? No, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's annoying.
That is annoying.
Did you know Selick did Coraline too?
Seriously? That makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense, actually.
Oh, Selleck's a god then.
Yeah, he just and James and the Giant Peach.
Oh, that is a scary movie.
Is it
Him
really?
living in a peach.
It's horrifying.
I've seen it once and I don't remember anything about
I
it.
just remember
Same.
being afraid. That was my first brush with.
It's the one
primal
with like the
fear.
giant bugs.
Yeah, it was. They were giant bugs inside the peach.
Oh, but it has the hot spider lady.
Who?
Oh, Charlie.
There's a spider lady.
I know who you're talking about, and
It has a cricket in a suit.
I can't do it. Susan Sarandon. Susan Sarandon was the voice of the Spider Lady.
Oh, this all makes sense then.
It's adding up.
Yeah, come on, Rocky Horror Picture Show and Dead Man Walking.
Jeez.
I've never
If
seen Rocky Horror
anyone-
Picture Show.
Yeah, me
I will
neither. Me
admit.
neither.
That's amazing.
I used to mix up Rocky Horror Picture Show with Little Shop of Horrors purely because they both had
Yes.
horror in the name.
And I
How
think
do
the
you-
same font. On
Yeah,
their
they're very
names as
wildly
well.
different shows.
One of them has a plant, dog. What are you talking about?
Me.
One has a
That's my impression
Yeah.
of the plant.
Spot on. You really nailed
Oh,
it.
Tim Burton also did the Alice in Wonderland movie.
yeah. We don't acknowledge
Okay,
the second
Honestly,
one.
sleeper hit.
Wait, no,
sleeper hit.
Yeah, I agree with
The
Charlie.
second one, I like the first one. The second one,
Oh, I don't.
I think both of them are sleeper hits. I honestly thought that his Alice in Wonderland world was really cool.
it was, and
I
like the whole
liked
thing
it.
with the what's the monster called? The Jabberwocky.
Yes.
Oh, yes. The Jabberwocky it went off.
Yeah.
That was
Oh yeah, for sure.
That has to be my favorite poem of all time.
The Jabberwocky.
Lewis Carroll's Jabberwocky.
Yeah, man.
Insane. And the Vorpal blade went
That-
snicker snack.
The Vorpal blade, man. I remember my. Did you guys know this movie Nightmare Before Christmas was shot in 12 frames per second?
What?
Ew,
Half of cinema standard.
Whoa.
12 frames. Per
that's
second. You know, it's
no wonder it took 3 years.
but like I'm surprised for being shot in 12 frames per second. It looks surprisingly fluid. Like
oh yeah.
you would think it would be really choppy. Most movies are like 24, and absolute gamer guys, play games at like 200 frames per second. And it's just like, nah, bro.
Gamer
Yeah.
At
guy.
200 frames per second, I think 60s
Well, 60s,
is
I mean,
what
60s, 60s for what console plebs use, but I mean, if you have
we actually use 30, so get wrecked.
not helping. But yeah, 12 frames. And then there's only like 3 shots in the entire movie that were shot at 24. And it's the few like weird live action shots that are cut into the stop motion movie. That's like
Oh.
the soup falling through the spoon and the bugs falling into the lava pit. It's like
Oh
the
yeah.
weird live action imposed onto the stop motion. Those scenes are a little bit uncomfortable. Just those shots.
Well, I'll be real, like, I keep noticing them in a lot of movies, like, in Tim Burton's, Corpse Bride, there was one shot which used a real smoke effect. Just none of it ever matches.
Doesn't look right.
Never. It doesn't look right, but yet these people keep doing it, and I don't quite know why.
It's like mixing when people mix 2D and 3D animation, this is like the next dimension above that. You're mixing 3D and real life, and it just doesn't.
Well, see, that's the or that's the crazy thing. 2D, 3D animation can look absolutely baller. Dead Cells nailed it. But I don't know, just I think you're right though. Just how realistic it is, and I think this is specifically a Tim Burton problem, by the way, because he just stylizes the like just living hell out of everything.
Yeah.
I think that it's just because he has such a distinct style. Anything that does not perfectly match that style, like you can notice it like instantly.
That's
Immediately.
true. That's a really good point, actually. Yeah. I think it's funny that we were so excited about talking about Nightmare Before Christmas last time, and we've talked about like everything but Nightmare Before Christmas this time.
Well, like
But true.
there's not a whole lot to say about it after watching it. It's like everyone knows it. It's great.
Yeah,
I think you should watch
everyone
it.
knows it's good, and it's also because, alas, I was unable to take notes this time, so I'm scraping around for material as best I can here.
We just enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's like it's
Which sometimes you got to,
right.
you know?
Look, guys, it's hard. It's so hard to be a movie podcaster, guys. We feel bad for us, right? We have to sit down and watch a movie and actually think about it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
If you can't tell, this is me making fun of pretentious internet celebrities. It's like when a teacher complains about all the stuff they have to grade. It's like, bro, you gave us the assignment. It's like when I see internet famous people complain or like be ungrateful at all, it just irks me so bad. That's why I like this where any views we get or whatever we're like, incredibly grateful for. I feel like if you're famous online, like you owe it to the people who make you famous, like to be good to them.
Mhm.
I just hate ungrateful
Well,
celebrities.
I don't know. I like complaining. So, I'm fine when people do it. I'm totally fine. Well, and I think for teachers specifically, I allow them to complain as much as they want because they have 3 classes and they have to grade 90 papers and like you're sort of forced by the school board to give it all these assignments and
Sure.
teachers will especially parents want more homework. That's a weird thing, by the way. Parents always want more homework. I've noticed this as a teacher myself. Like people are just always asking for their kids to constantly be doing stuff. So when you're essentially being forced by these people to give all these like assignments, then you get all these assignments that you have to grade. And then it's like, well, I have to do 90 things. In addition to the hours of work I do already, I need to spend like 2 more hours at home. Like homework for us is homework for teachers, which is why so many just care if you do it because they've just gotten to the point where it's like, I honestly, couldn't care. You're going to get out of the class what you're going to get out of the class. But moving back to Nightmare Before Christmas, I have some very interesting theories. You guys want to hear some?
I'd love to.
Yes.
Okay. So this is a theory on ranker.com. I just want to plug them. Pretty cool. This one says the movie hints at all the ways the characters perish. So, for instance, Sally is stitched together, right? Which means probably that when she died, she was cut up and dismembered into itsy bitsy little pieces, right?
Itsy bitsy.
Yeah, itsy bitsy little pieces. That's why she's sewn together. Locke of the Trick or Treaters for Lock, Stock, and Barrel is said to have frozen due to his white skin, blue lips, and choice of a devil costume, signifying a desire for heat.
Whoa.
Zero, the ghostly pup, is
Ooh.
believed to have been electrocuted as he resembles a wisp of smoke with his nose lighting up, signifying some kind of electric current in him.
Huh.
So, what do you guys think of that?
Zero.
I buy it. I mean, there's that guy who literally has an axe in his head.
Yeah.
Or there's that melty, gooey guy, right? Maybe he got like melted by acid or something. I don't know. But I buy
Mhm.
that. I think that's an interesting little tidbit. Or there's that clown with the clown with the tearaway face, you know? Maybe he got his face torn off.
Gives me Twisty.
Twisty? Who's
the
Twisty?
clown. Ooh, American Horror Story, baby.
Oh,
Twisty the
yeah, no,
clown.
you won't catch me watching American Horror. Hold on, I have to look up what a picture of Twisty is. Twisty.
Oh,
Oh, that's
do
probably
the
a
one
bad
without the
idea.
mask. I want to hear your reaction.
Ah, what is this? Ah. Wait, is that
Most
wait,
unenthused
wait, that's a
reaction.
mask? He's wearing a
Did you do the one without a
wait, I
mask?
searched Twisty the Clown, no mask. And I'm confused as to what I'm supposed to be looking at.
So
The
he
scary
has
clown.
the mask, which is all the teeth.
Oh.
But when he takes the one without the mask, he has like a whole mangled like face.
Oh,
No?
I see. I thought the whole face thing was a mask because it has like a red line
Oh
around it.
no.
It's very like
No. Yeah.
Joker. You remember that Joker like comic where he like cut his face
Oh,
off?
New 52.
Is
Yep.
that New 52? The one where he cut his face
Mhm.
off?
Yeah,
It is?
it's actually technically the doll maker cut his face off, and then Joker's like wandering around trying to get his face back. And,
Wait, no, I
it's
thought
this
this
whole
was way
thing.
older than New 52. Maybe they
I
did it
think the Joker with the face off is New 52.
what?
Nerds.
I'm thinking of yeah, I think you're right actually. I'm not gonna press you because I don't know DC very well. That's yeah, and then you like put it back on and it looks all gross.
Yeah, it was disgusting. It was in the Death of the Family
Yeah, that's
art.
what I was
10 out
okay,
of
yeah, I
10.
was thinking of Death of the Family.
I
Is
loved
that
that.
part of New 52?
Yeah.
What is New 52?
New 52 is like the whole rebranding that they did
Like
that not everyone
like the
liked.
Marvel Ultimate thing? Like
Yes,
okay, I got
essentially.
it. Speaking of Danny Elfman, speaking of Marvel, Danny Elfman composed the banging theme for Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire ones, by the way. Another example of how Danny Elfman never misses. Look, I'll give Tom
Really?
Holland plenty of points, but I don't think anyone can deny that the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies have the best like musical theme ever.
Sure.
It's so
Fine.
cool, man. It's so
Fine.
cool. And it has those little bongos.
I do like the bongos, will admit. But I have another theory, and I think this one actually ties into something that we were talking about earlier. Nightmare Before Christmas is a commentary on cultural appropriation.
What?
All right, let's
Oh, I see where this is going.
explain. Twitter
Where it's
user
going.
Kindersaurus Rex sees a lesson about cultural appropriation. Bored with Halloween Town, Jack finds an exciting exotic land with culture and traditions that are brand new to him. He doesn't understand Christmas, but knows he wants to take it and make it his own. Jack steals and kidnaps without a second thought in order to set his plan into action, then dumbs down the idea of Christmas to make it palatable for his fellow citizens of Halloween Town. The citizens of Halloween Town decide to improve upon the thing they don't yet grasp and ignore the protestations of the head of Christmas Town, Santa Claus himself. What they come up with is a horrifying shell of what Christmas really is.
I actually really like that. And I think it's
That's
that if you
bop.
take that too, it sort of shows like the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Like, I mean, people like Jack didn't his goal wasn't to destroy Christmas, right? I mean, I like that theory a lot though, Charlie. I think that's good. And the end of the movie is Jack learning cultural appreciation versus appreciation, which is
The racist points for Tim Burton are really
an important
getting.
thing to learn,
Oh
right?
man.
Appreciation versus appropriation. There's a difference, and Jack just didn't get it.
I agree. I think that the movie, honestly, I super vibe with this theory. I'm not sure if it knew that it was talking about that, but I think the story definitely ends up being something entirely like that, where if you're to celebrate a tradition from another culture that you're not familiar with, then you would need to know why they're doing it. Otherwise, you're just gonna do a horrible job at celebrating it, which is what ends up happening.
It's also
You
a
know?
weird. I feel like the movie kind of has a weird message where it winds up being like stick to what you're good at, you know, which is really
Exactly.
strange. It's like discouraging learning. But I thought so. I heard someone say once that the entire movie is just Jack Skellington having a midlife crisis, and honestly, like true.
Yeah.
I mean, but honestly, that's any movie ever. Like that's what the hero's journey is guy is tired of his life and so tries to do something new and fails miserably and decides that maybe what he had before wasn't so bad.
Grass is not always greener.
That's literally
Rude.
it. Like every Disney movie is like that, right? Every single musical or Disney princess movie has that song where they're just like, "My life's terrible. I want more." The first song in Beauty and the Beast, the part of your world song in Little Mermaid, Jack's lament in Nightmare Before Christmas. It's all just like, I'm discontented. I want more. Never mind the fact that Jack's lament is an absolute bop, though. That's like that's my
Yes.
favorite song.
You know what Disney movie doesn't do that?
What?
Tangled.
Are you joking me?
I mean, it doesn't do the what's it called? The grass is greener because the grass literally was
Sure, but it
greener.
does have the whole "I'm discontented, I want more" thing.
Yeah, but
True.
this time she's right
But
because she's
She's
trapped in a
she was
tower.
literally like
Fair enough.
gaslit, kidnapped.
Yeah, I mean, really, like Rapunzel doesn't exactly have like like a moment of regret in that movie. She was totally right the whole time.
Yeah,
Right? Followed her gut, ended up
Right,
great.
which
Got a haircut.
like that does
queen.
not always that does not always work out. I saw someone trying to like basically I saw someone this is my second canceled installment of the podcast
Oh
for today.
no.
I saw someone try to cancel Tangle once because Flynn Rider should have asked for consent before cutting off Rapunzel's hair. It's like, dude, I see where you're coming
Oh.
from, but it's a life or death situation against a magical witch, and you gotta
Nah.
like.
Nah, love the
Wasn't
take.
she dead? Wasn't she like dead when he
I-
cut her hair off?
No, he was dying.
Oh,
Yeah,
and so he cut her hair off so that the witch couldn't have it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he got stabbed, and so Punzel was like, "Can I please just like heal him, and then I can go with you?" And da 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 da. And Gothel was like, "I bet." And then she's like leaning over him. They're doing the whole back and forth. Cuts her hair. Gothel flips out, falls out of the window, disintegrates, and he like nearly dies.
And then he gets healed anyway.
But yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know if he should have asked or not. I mean,
I don't feel like he should have because in that
Rapunzel,
moment,
can I cut your hair off? And then Mother Gothel hears and just ruins it.
yeah,
You gotta the element of surprise is in is on his favor.
exactly.
I gotta really start keeping a list of every movie that's not Nightmare Before Christmas that we talk about today.
talked
Exactly.
about.
Okay, one more Nightmare Before Christmas theory though.
Okay, that's another theory, Charlie.
So this is the last theory. I think James is really gonna like this one.
Oh,
According to Redditor New Leaf 37,
it's from Reddit. Get it out of here. It's from Reddit.
the last one was from Reddit.
Oh no.
Halloween. So this theory is called "The movie is about Jack fighting Christianity."
What?
Halloween Town is hell, and this specific hell is Jack's existential crisis. Jack's introduction to Jesus and God occurs when he finds himself in Christmas Town, but he chooses not to share that part. That's really weird wording. Share that part when he tells the citizens of Halloween Town about his discovery. Jack sings that the Christmas spirit is invisible but everywhere, and just because I cannot see it doesn't mean I can't believe it.
Wait.
Which
True.
could be read as a reference to the blind faith people put in religious figures. The Redditor backs up their argument further by pointing out biblical quotes like Santa's referencing the angel speech to the shepherds, "Haven't you heard of peace on earth and goodwill towards men?" Wow.
What? Wait, that didn't really make sense to me at first, but it kind of does. I like that this is all hinging on the fact that Christmas started as a Christian holiday. That's I don't buy that one as much. I think the theory I buy the most out of these is the cultural appropriation one because it's like that's what the movie's about. We just didn't use this word for it back then. Like the term cultural appropriation didn't really exist, but that's definitely like just what the plot of the movie is, you know. So
I don't know, Casey. Do you have any thoughts on Jack Skellington being a good
good
Catholic boy?
skeleton.
Good Catholic boy. I don't know. I feel like I'm in the same boat as James where I don't buy this one as much. Points were made. Points were made, but I feel like I lean more towards the cultural appropriation one, or the one where they're like deaths are hinted to. That one's pretty cool as well.
Did Dr. Finkelstein get his like skull cut open then? Is that how he died? I guess?
Yes,
Good.
I 100% think so.
Yeah. Dr. Finkelstein, he's such a
He was a creep. I'm
but he's like a fun character. I mean, I think the fact no, listen.
He creates a slave woman
No, not
to
like listen.
trap in his apartment.
I think like when you think of Corpse Bride in an hour 15, how many fun, memorable, like really
True.
what like
Bone Daddy.
here are the characters in Corpse Bride: Victor, Emily, the alive girl, Bone Jangles, arguably, and the bad guy. Like that's it. This movie, Nightmare Before Christmas, the cast is way more memorable. Jack Skellington, Sally, Dr. Finkelstein, Santa, Lock, Shock, and Barrel, the mayor, Oogie Boogie. The list goes on, man. I feel like Nightmare Before Christmas is just so much more memorable than Corpse Bride is, and I think that's because it's like more colorful and just honestly kind of like a more interesting setting than Corpse Bride. Like to be honest, I don't know. I feel like Corpse Bride is just like we said before. It's just a less successful and less interesting version of Nightmare Before Christmas. And also that's my. I think that's what I've learned this spooky month. We should have some spooky month reflections. What did we learn?
I mean, I think I learned that Tim Burton makes the same movie every time, and he did it best the first time he did it. And then every subsequent movie is just a worse version of what he did already.
I learned not to trust him because he's turned out to be racist.
Yeah. Don't trust someone that only puts white people in their movies
True.
when
Colonizer
they literally
behavior.
create the colonizer behavior.
Did you learn anything about the spirit of Halloween, guys?
Tim Burton's a colonizer.
Jack Skellington is too. He literally
Well-
colonized Christmas.
True.
Imagine if you tried to colonize Thanksgiving.
Oh no!
That movie, it would be a totally different.
You know,
movie.
they had plans.
just
for,
comes-
They had plans for a Nightmare Before Christmas sequel in 2001.
Afternoon
I
before
saw
Thanksgiving.
that.
And then Tim Burton was like, "No, please don't make a second one."
no,
What would the plot?
Because he knew.
Well, what would the plot
Yeah.
be? Just the
It
same
would
thing,
be-
but with Easter.
The same.
No.
thing,
It
but
would
with-
be Easter and Hanukkah this time.
The people
instead.
of Easter Town.
The people of Eastertown get tired. Yeah, just get tired of being bunnies.
What I thought was interesting is that in like an early draft of the script, in an earlier draft of the script, Oogie Boogie was supposed to wind up being Dr. Finkelstein in disguise, which I think I don't know.
that could have gone
I
hard.
don't know if that would be better or worse though, because
Worse.
Oogie Boogie's such a cool villain. Like I love
Yeah.
Oogie Boogie. He's the jazzy. He's got the very like I don't know what's the proper term to describe it. Like New Orleans, Princess and the Frog
The
villain,
drawl.
the voodoo kind
Dr.
of not like voodoo,
Facilier.
but you know what I'm saying, like kinda.
No,
Yeah, it's that way. No, what he
Well-
does is definitely kinda. No, not really. I don't know.
Well, let me consult my
because
voodoo
he doesn't have
encyclopedia.
anything that deliberately is like voodoo hoodoo stuff.
No,
like
wait,
Dr.
okay,
Facilier.
hold on.
He was definitely like bluesy.
I don't want to
like,
be. I don't. I'm really just genuinely curious.
I will clock you if you're being insensitive.
No.
Oh, let's get him. Let's get him, Kasey.
Is
I'll take the right.
no? Listen.
not in like a bad way, but just
Is
like,
hoodoo a thing, or do you just say it because it rhymes with voodoo? Because I say hoodoo too.
No. no, hoodoo and voodoo are two different. things.
But
Wait,
hoodoo.
hoodoo is a thing? Since I've never heard of it.
So what's I've only ever heard whenever I hear people say hoodoo, I was just like, oh, they're making a fun rhyme with voodoo, like heebie-jeebies.
a spiritual tradition.
I'm gonna need to do some research because I'm interested
Here,
to find out what the difference
Let
is.
me.
My gosh, hoodoo is a thing.
Hoodoo is a mixture of African practices with Native American influence and European Christian folk practices.
And then how is
Whoa.
that different from voodoo?
Where was voodoo originated from? I know that it was a very specific area.
Well, voodoo's like South Louisiana.
Like folky.
Yeah.
I thought it had some sort of.
Oh,
I know
what's
it
the
had a
difference?
presence in the Caribbean at one point.
Yes, I think that's where it originated.
But then it like got popular in
Um,
Louisiana. I don't know. I'm just extrapolating.
Oh, so voodoo is an actual religion, and hoodoo is not an actual religion. It's just like a practice.
Interesting.
Oh, I've never met someone who like says. I mean, do you say I like my religion is voodoo? Because if it's an actual, I've
mean-
never met someone who practices voodoo.
It's more like it's kind of just
Because there's a large, I mean, there's kind of a big stigma around it.
yeah, because it's various. Well, I don't even know if I want to get into that.
I
But
don't
here's
know if
like
you do
the
either.
but yeah, also going back to origins, voodoo arose in Haiti and hoodoo arose in Africa.
Oh, that's
You know,
interesting.
which is
Oh.
why it has all of the influence on hoodoo versus voodoo, where it was more like contained.
So is the
Slave trade. Sorry.
triangular trade, dang.
Triangular trade.
The transatlantic system. A push, baby.
Oh, this is so cool. Yo, voodoo's actually badass. They sing
No, literally.
songs for the rituals. Each deity has its own theme song.
Dang.
Christianity needs to step its game up.
Whoa, what are you talking about, man? Maybe
Where's
Christianity, Catholicism's got music on lock. I just want to point
Oh,
out.
do you have like a cool 80s theme song for Jesus?
Are you
I
implying
don't
that
think so.
voodoo has a cool 80s theme song for their like
Yes.
ritualistic
Yes.
sacred deities?
I'm 100% implying that.
That's a little culturally insensitive.
I think that they have cooler music because all of their stuff is musical. At least from the 2 minutes I've spent reading Wikipedia. Because there's 4 phases to a voodoo ritual,
At least
all
he's-
identifiable by the song being sung.
At least he's trying, guys.
You don't
True.
know anything about it. I don't.
Charlie, don't. Charlie's Jack Skellington going into the voodoo door.
No, not the voodoo. Step away from the voodoo.
Oh,
door.
no.
On Monday, I'm just gonna be Dr. Facilier. Just watch.
Oh,
No.
That's what's gonna happen.
Please refrain.
I'm gonna definitely do some research because I'm very interested now.
I know.
I feel like I have so much learning to do. My eyes have been opened. And then I'll just
Look at
yeah,
that.
We're learning
James.
things. The Socratic Cinema podcast is very non-focused and educational today.
Ooh, it's commercialized.
It's kind of a lazy Saturday. It's a Sunday today, on the day of recording.
Wow, you thought it was Saturday.
It's
I can't believe
it's a
it.
pretty lazy Sunday over here in Southern California. It's also way too hot to be October.
I know.
Greta
Whoa,
Thunberg
James.
better get on it.
There's Catholic voodoo.
What?
Yeah,
like-
early followers of voodoo in the United States adopted the image of the Catholic saints to represent their spirits.
So it's not It's not Catholic voodoo. It's
Well,
voodoo Catholic.
Other Catholic practices adopted into Louisiana voodoo include reciting the Hail Mary and the Lord's Prayer.
So it's not like Catholic people do voodoo things. It's like voodoo
Well, it's
people
voodoo
do Catholic
people
things.
do Catholic. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Probably for assimilation.
right,
reasons.
honestly, probably. Because that's
Yes.
because that's not a two-way. It's like not a two-way street.
Street.
Like yeah.
Different, people in the sky. so.
Yeah.
That's kind of.
I mean, hey, both of them, however, have had a Disney villain. We had
True.
Count Frollo or
True.
whatever his name was. And
The ultimate equalizer.
oh my god.
Disney villains.
If you've had you know you're a marginalized group when Disney made a villain out of you.
How do we?
Honestly.
Even the
No.
colonizers have
For
one with
real.
the dude from
Oh, God.
Pocahontas.
Oh no.
I almost called him John Wick, not John Smith.
John
just
Wick's just
Pocahontas, but
glocking
it's-
Pocahontas.
Right? And Oogie Boogie's marginalized group
No!
is Louisianians. It's just people from Louisiana.
Not Louisiana.
Not the
Just blues in general.
oh gosh, jazz
just
fans.
blues, jazz fans.
Jazz fans are the most oppressed minority in America.
Oh my god. All right. Well,
We are running out
Ooh.
of time, seriously though.
I don't know.
Future
Does anyone
employers
have
should not
any
look at
ending point?
It's just a good movie. It's just a good, solid movie. Nightmare Before Christmas. I wish I could do it more justice today in this podcast. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little ashamed of my performance today, but it's just a great movie. It's just a very comforting, fun watch. And I think if you're listening to this and it's not Halloween yet, which it won't be Halloween yet when this comes out, go watch Nightmare Before Christmas. Before Halloween comes, or on Halloween. It's just a fun, spooky watch. That's my closing thoughts.
I concur.
Verily.
I third.
You
I third.
With that being said, I'm going to do a little bit of spieling before we go. We're coming up on the end of our episode here, and we want to thank you all for watching. Yeah, so subscribe if you want to on YouTube. We have lots of cool podcasts and video essays over there. If you're listening on any other platform, be sure to leave a thumbs up or write a review and share the podcast with your friends. Maybe I'll put that part at the beginning. And now that we're here at the end, I'll say once again, thanks for listening. Make sure you share and like and follow and do all that good stuff. Find us on Instagram at Socratic Cinema and Twitter at Cinema Socratic and Twitch at Socratic Cinema. Every week I'm going to say I'm going to start streaming soon because I feel myself getting closer to actually streaming one of these days.
Apply the pressure.
I know. Just
Everyone.
every
Do it.
podcast I'm going to keep saying it. But yeah, I think that's about it. So thanks for listening. This is concluding our spooky season. We've come to the end. It was only 2 episodes long, but that's because we release every other week because we're busy. We'll catch you all in the Christmas season. Until next time, we've been Socratic Cinema. Thanks for listening.
Adios.
Adios.